Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Living in Our 20s. Today will be my first 20-minute long episode, so I've decided to shorten the episode to see if you guys prefer when I do in-depth discussions with my friends. So today I'm joined by Bronte and we'll be looking at her career as a content creator and working within the digital media field. So, hey Bronte, how are you?
Hello, I'm well.
Hello.
I'm well.
We love it. Thank you so much for joining me. I've been looking forward to doing this episode with you and just learning a bit more about your work and what you've done so far. And so, as I say to all my guests on my episode, I always ask how old everybody is so the people listening can sort of gauge where you guys are at in life. So, Bronte, how old are you?
So I am 24, turning 25 at the end of this year, which feels like a
25.
milestone.
That's great. And yet, trust me, 25, going to be 26. And I'm like, oh my gosh, life is just going too quickly. I'm like, can I just please stay 25? Because I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready for this. We'll see how it goes. Do you have any plans for your 25th that you're going to wait and see?
I don't know. I think I'm going to wait and see. I feel like the days of planning something big are behind me, already. I mean,
hear that. Yeah.
Something chill, if anything.
Something chill. That's good. Yeah. So I thought we'd first start the episode just talking a bit about your career currently. And I know you're about to start a new job a bit later this year, but we'll just take ourselves a bit back and sort of explain what you first do. So could you let us know what is the title of your role that you're doing currently?
Mm-hmm. So my current title officially is personal assistant to the digital media director and team assistant to the digital media team.
Amazing.
That's a very long title.
A very long title, yeah.
This is all within the National Theatre.
Amazing, yeah.
And what I do, basically, it's pretty self-explanatory. I'm a personal assistant, so to the director of the digital media team. So very much diary management, basically being someone's right hand, always being with them for the rest of the team. I very much sort of talk to all stakeholders across the building because I'm sort of looking after all the senior management within our team, as well as just doing generic, clerical and administrative duties.
Yeah, that's cool. And we're taking it a bit back as well. So I know that you studied theatre performance at the University of Surrey, the Guildford School of Acting, because we graduated at both, let's not forget. And I know back then in like our final year when we were crying over dissertation and figure out what we're doing with our lives, you had a very massive interest in going into marketing at the beginning. And so I want to just ask a bit more like what made you want to go into marketing when you were, I was going to say younger, but it was only like 3 years ago. Yeah, what interested you at first? Yeah.
I think, you know what, saying younger feels right because it feels like so long ago now. And
yeah.
I think I'd almost say I felt like a different person then because I think, to be honest, I kind of became interested in marketing because I felt like it was the thing to be interested in at the time. And I kind of thought, I could definitely apply my skills of, social media and copywriting. I could definitely get into that, and obviously theatre was something I wanted to go into. So when I saw an opportunity come up for marketing intern at Kiln Theatre, I was like, let's go for it. And as you know, I got it.
Well done, congrats. I remember. Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, it was a great job for 6 months. But I think
what kind of things did you do when you were working at Kiln as a
so it was very much looking after the social channels, Twitter, Instagram, making sort of actual physical posters for like the cinema, a little bit of outreach as well to like local communities to get them to come see screenings and shows, and again just lots of administrative duties within this.
That's good. And you were saying something before I cut you then about, I think you were going to say, I don't know if you were going to say, don't get me wrong, was that like when you were starting to think maybe marketing wasn't really for you at the time? Or
I think it was very much one of those, like, I enjoyed it and I'm really glad I did it, but I think it was right. Like, I don't think I can imagine myself going back to marketing now.
Okay, yeah. And even at the time when you were doing that role, because I know we all love our social media, we have our apps at home, did you ever find it like hard to sort of separate, like you're going to work to do social media stuff and I'm sure during your breaks you might be like, let me check my Instagram and stuff like that, or TikTok, and it's just like, did you ever find yourself being like, okay, I'm just on social media like every single second of my days? And how were you able, like, what was that journey like for you? Were you able to take breaks? How would you describe that?
I think you know what, that's interesting. I think you're right, because I'd spent basically every day on social monitoring work socials. I don't think I
Yeah.
really had much interest in my own socials,
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
which is interesting because I think
Mm,
what you said about needing a break is very accurate. You know,
yeah.
yeah, I guess, and at the time I didn't really pursue sort of any content creation either, so it was easy to kind of park my personal socials to one side.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
No,
what I'd
that's
say
good.
about
And I know as well during the pandemic as well, when you were, again, going back to when you first were interested in marketing, it was
that.
quite a journey for you before you actually got your job. 'Cause I don't remember when you got Kiln, whether you did Kiln and you had a bit of a break, but I remember it was quite a rough journey to get with. So I was going to ask if you could just explain like what that journey was like from when you graduated and you were looking for jobs, even though you sort of knew at the time, this is what I wanted to do, marketing. How was that for you and how you got from graduating to where you are now? So yeah, just explaining that journey. Yeah.
Yeah, so quick overview of that would be so I very luckily got the marketing job straight away
Yeah.
after graduating uni, which was really lucky, I think. It was a great opportunity. And then once I left there at the end of 2019, so obviously pandemic was coming, but we didn't know at that point.
Yeah.
uh, I had a little bit of a break and for a couple of months, and then I found work in casting for Instagram and kind of talent work.
Yeah.
And I did that for about 5 months, and then we were sort of in the middle of lockdown, deep sort of lockdown in 2020, and then I lost that job. And then I was out of work for a little while, so I think that's kind of where a lot of people will probably be able to relate to that during the
Yeah.
pandemic, especially in the creative space.
Yeah.
So I did odd jobs here and there, like I worked for 4 weeks with a charity late 2020, and then I basically was unemployed until mid 2021 when I got back.
And it's like, yeah.
So, it was
Wow.
looking back on that, at first I found that quite shameful, but then I'm like, actually, it was a lot of people's stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's for sure. That's for
Mm,
sure. And even with that, because you also mentioned that you went into casting a bit as well. And
yeah.
I know your friend, I say your friend, but I know her too, Sophie. So I had like a casting sort of business as well. But I wondered
Yeah.
if was casting something you also during that job where you like, this is something I want to go into, or was it like, this is probably not for me? How was that jumping from marketing into casting? Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting as well, because it felt like a kind of not a natural progression, but maybe a sort of this could maybe be similar.
Yeah.
Uh, but I think, to be honest as well, it was also a bit of, I need a job and I need money, so
Yeah.
I fell into it.
Mm,
It was nice because I already knew someone who was working for this company,
yeah.
so that happened. But I know now that I've done it, I personally wouldn't go back there.
Mm,
I think it's a great market, and obviously it's very, like, everyone does casting and talent
yeah.
very well these days, and like, that's how people sell products, and it works.
Yeah.
But just for me, I personally wouldn't go back there.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair. And
Mm.
also, even though you did have that sort of gap between finishing at Kiln Theatre and then looking for work, I know one thing that seemed to blossom for you was your food blogging page called Bronte Brunch and Bites. I said it, I didn't, but I did it. Well done. Um, yeah. So, could you talk to us a bit about what that is and when you began that? Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, so with that account, I actually had it since about 2015.
Oh, oh, that way back. I didn't realize.
Yeah,
Wow.
but back in 2015, it wasn't really anything. It was just like a fun kind of throwaway page.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when lockdown happened, yeah, at the beginning of 2020, I started taking more photos, and because like I said, I wasn't really working and we were all at home, I
Yeah.
literally was posting every single day something. Like I was baking, I was cooking, throwbacks to
Yeah.
like meals from before COVID.
Yeah.
um, and then I kind of fell into it. It wasn't meant to ever go anywhere really, and then
Yeah.
one day during the pandemic, BBC Good Food reposted one of my posts because I'd done one of their recipes,
Yeah.
and then from then, like, I sort of got about 1,000 followers
Oh,
overnight. And I was
wow.
like, oh my god! And then it
Yeah.
kind of just snowballed from there. Don't get me wrong, I don't have like loads and loads of followers, but I have I
I
had
think
enough.
for the journey it is, it's still be proud, girl. You still got you still got it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was still enough for for me to be working with some brands, and it was all very new and exciting, definitely.
Yeah. That's good. And what made you want to blog food? Like where did that idea come from?
I think I've always loved food. I've always loved the idea of community and food, and then just kind of the food blogging space on Instagram did
Yeah.
feel very. It felt very safe. It felt like a nice community to be involved in.
Yeah.
I know obviously now it's changed slightly with all the Instagram algorithms and everything that they've,
Yeah.
I mean, you've probably seen it, everyone's sort of is in uproar about how
Yeah,
Instagram's a photo.
it's always changing, don't it? Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't know how I feel about it at this point in time now, because it's, I personally think like Instagram's trying to be very much like TikTok now.
Yeah.
So I think I've lost my way a bit with it. I think Instagram's lost its way a bit. So I'm hoping that kind of settles and I can get back to just having fun with the page.
That's true.
Yeah.
And did you sort of teach yourself to sort of, actually, well, first question again for those who don't know, what sort of things do you blog about on your Bronte Brunch and Bites page?
At first it was very much recipes, ideas and baking ideas and that kind of thing, and then it kind of moved to, as we were coming back into the normal life, it moved to sort of restaurant reviews and like days out and things like that. Maybe a bit less baking, because I basically overbaked during lockdown.
Overbaked, too much baking. Yeah, because I was gonna say, like, with these recipes, did you sort of teach yourself? Like, how do you sort of know, like, oh, this is what I want to try? Was it like a bit of like, oh, look at this recipe and make it my own, or do you just come up with these ideas yourself? Yeah.
It was a lot of that. It was very much,
Yeah.
I'll do these recipes from this person, and then as soon as I like them, I kind of like, okay, I'll adapt that slightly and make it slightly my own, or you know, change the flavors or change the method slightly, and then it kind of just went from there. Which is, it's something, it's great. That's what creating food is all about, you know, I think.
Yeah, just having your own creativity. And would you say, what's your favorite meal you've made?
Ooh. Oh my God.
You can have some time to think, don't worry.
I think I would say, can I change it to a favorite bake I've done?
Yeah, of course you can. You can.
Okay,
yeah, you can.
So I think it would have to still be, during lockdown I made these pink cinnamon rolls.
I think I remember them. I remember seeing them. They looked gorgeous.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they were great.
And also they just looked so stunning because they were like bright pink.
yeah. And I love pink, so it's like that is.
Me too.
Yeah, that's good. And was there anybody on Instagram that sort of inspired you as a, like, I don't know if you ever looked up to any food bloggers or content creators? I was like, oh, actually, this is where I've sort of learned what I want to do, and who are they, or like, what is it about their work or their food that you like?
Oh, that's a good question. I think from working in casting and like talent, Instagram and stuff, I did get to know sort of more foodie bloggers, which maybe is where it kind of the interest came from. But it was a lot like platforms like Mob Kitchen. I don't know if you know of them, but you know, they got really big throughout lockdown. They've got like millions of followers now across TikTok and Instagram, and they've got recipe books, but they started as just a food platform, and now they're a huge business. So it was pages like that were really inspiring, I think, to kind of put your recipes out there and not take yourself so seriously on Instagram and things like that.
Yeah, because it can be a lot. And even with that, I was gonna say, especially with as having your own page, or you're making a lot of content, do you ever feel like you'll run out of ideas? Because I think that's also always something I'm like, oh my gosh, sometimes I could be like, I don't want to start them because I was like, I've got one idea, but then I don't know where I'm going to go. Like, has there ever been a fear of yours, and how have you dealt with that?
Oh, absolutely. I completely like that. I feel like that now, to be honest with you. And then I went through it as well this time last year. I kept looking at my page thinking, oh, I hate the way it looks. I really don't like that. Oh, I wish I hadn't posted that, and I don't know what to do next. And then I kind of got over it once I was like, just get out your head, you're fine.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm definitely back there now. So to be honest, I actually don't think I have very much help for this.
That's okay. It's a cycle, isn't it? And have you always enjoyed creating content for pages, or do you feel like, again, you've just fallen in love with it? Because I don't feel like, oh, it needs to be perfect and it needs to be like this, or I need is it something you really do enjoy, or is there like sort of parts of it you're like, I don't actually like this, it's a bit long?
Yeah, that's a really good question as well. I think that's another way that Instagram has changed. Or for me, when I first was doing it in 2020, I was less focused on what the pictures looked like and more about the information I was sharing. But also it was reaching a lot more people than it is now. Whereas now I'm really conscious about what things look like on my page. So if you look back at my page now, I haven't posted for about a month because I'm like, I just can't take good photos. I don't like the content. You know what I mean? It's I think you get into your own head a lot. And especially now that, like I said, Instagram's promoting reels and videos, it's hard. Well, for me, I think it's harder to make, because there's so much oversaturation, I think, especially in certain communities on Instagram, that if you're going to be making reels, you want to make something that's going to stand out from the crowd rather than just a random reel, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with that as well, do you feel, I'm sure you probably have, but have you ever felt like, have you ever compared your work to like other sort of food content creators?
Oh,
Or,
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. There's amazing content creators I follow, food content creators.
Yeah.
I think they're incredible, but it's hard to not be like, oh, their reels are so good, and how do they have time to do that?
Yeah.
Time, and why can't I do that? You know.
Yeah.
I think you've just got to remember, like, look, some not. It's hard to describe because some. I guess it just depends on what your priorities are.
Yeah.
I know for some people, you know, maybe content creation on Instagram is a priority alongside, say, work, and
Yeah.
that's how they're churning out a reel a day, you know, or like a
Yeah.
post a day, and they're doing it amazingly, and I'm like, that is incredible. But right now, for me, sadly, that's not my priority. But I think I
Yeah.
probably could get there, you know.
Yeah, that makes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. And you mentioned time as well, and I think that's something, because I remember seeing when, like, I know I've seen like your journey a bit from like graduating, how your page has blown. I was just be like, how does Bronte have the time to like post these things and come up with ideas? So I just thought, did you ever give yourself like a schedule? Because I know you mentioned you posted every day, but I don't know if you've been like, you have a pre-schedule like what you do, or how do you have a routine to like how you know how to organize what you want to post so that it doesn't feel like a chore, especially since now you're working. Like, I guess did you find a routine since you went from having lockdown and having so much time to like getting a full-time job and still being able to post? Like, how did you manage that for yourself?
Yeah, that's, again, great.
Yeah. Great question. Thank you, girl. I'm appreciating it.
I think during the pandemic, I definitely had a sort of schedule.
Yeah.
I sort of had like a little list where I was like, oh, on this day I'm going to bake this and I'll post it, and then
Yeah.
on Thursday I'm going to cook and then I'll post that on Friday. And but I think I found that a very comforting routine because I wasn't working. It was kind of like my own little schedule. But just now with life and work and trying to keep up with being social, so I'm very much an ambivert. So like, I like being social, but I need my own space to reflect. I find that having a schedule is just too stressful on my mind right now. Because I'm very much like, I like to schedule, I like to plan, but I can't plan every single thing. So that would just be one step too far, I think, for me right now.
That makes sense. And is there any advice you'd give to any young content creators out there, in no matter like what they're doing? It might be specifically for food blogging content creators, which is fine too, but any sort of advice you'd give to those who are making work online?
I think advice I can give is have faith in your own stuff. You know, it's very easy to get sucked into the trap of, oh no, I won't post this because no one will be interested in this recipe, or no one will be interested in this food tip. But oftentimes the posts that I've thought that about, people have been commenting like, oh, I didn't know you could do that with this dish, and oh, I'm going to try that next time. And so I think, have faith in what you're doing, put your own stamp on it if you can, you know, don't be afraid to do something slightly different, like maybe add like a comedic value to your reel. Like, people love that kind of slight difference, you know. Just have faith in your own work, I think, definitely is what I
think that is true. I think that's true for everybody, because it's such, I think it is, what's that right, the imposter syndrome thing as well, of like feeling like I can't do this, or this is not for me. So I think definitely having to just do it no matter what happens, because you never know, like, even if 1,000 people might not like it, but if a few people do, you know, you're like inspiring or touching some people. So I think that's great advice from you. And no problem, girl. And what other things have you been up to outside of your career? Like, have you been like reading a book, learning to drive? What's life outside of content creation? How's that going for you?
So I am learning to drive.
How's that going?
I've had 12 lessons now. It's going okay.
That's good. You're like, were you like a fan of drive? How have you found it? Was it something you're excited to do, or were you like a bit nervous about it?
I think because I've put it off so late in life, I'm quite a nervous driver now. You know, almost 25, so I feel like I'm probably
quite. And it's not too late, babe. It's not too late. It's not too late.
Thank you. No, I'm glad I've started. Before every lesson every week, I get so nervous. And I'm like, I'm just gonna call in sick. I can't. But then as soon as I do it, I'm like, oh, that was so great. That was so much fun. But I'm still getting the hang of, because I'm learning manual, so I'm getting the hang of the clutch control.
The clutch control. Oh my gosh. Have you done like hills? Have you been on hills with the car yet or anything?
Not yet.
Not yet. She's like, not yet.
Not yet, please.
Okay, slowly take your time into that.
Literally, like yesterday I had a lesson, and I'm only just starting on like big roundabouts, and I went over this big roundabout, and she was like, you know, you're completely in the wrong lane then. I was like,
didn't know, love. She told me. Oh, bless you. That's good.
But yeah, so that's going on. I read a lot, to be fair, in my spare time.
Yeah,
I find that quite a way to sort of wind down as well.
no, that's good.
And it caught me on a good day because today I rejoined a gym as well. So
Well done. Look at
know.
you. Look at you doing all of this, ticking boxes. Have you enjoyed it? Have you gone in? Did you just sign up or have you actually gone to the gym today?
I signed up today and I'm planning to go Friday after work.
That's
so we'll
good.
see how
Well
it goes.
done. Well done. I will be accountable and be like, did you go on Friday, bro? Catch up on it.
Send you a picture from the gym.
Thank you very much. And also I know as well from going to uni with you, I know that you and your friendship group are still quite close from university, which I think is nice because I think some people might lose touch with their friends or get into arguments and stuff. So I just want to know how you found your friendship dynamic and how you guys have been able to sort of stay in touch all these years since being friends since like first year. Yeah.
No, it's amazing. I count myself so lucky to still know, so many amazing people from uni like you and my friendship groups. And I think it's just about being appreciative of each other's schedules. Now we're all, I'm gonna say adults in
Yeah.
in quotes. We're, a lot of us have full-time jobs or have weekend commitments and evening commitments, and
Yeah.
I think it comes to being mindful of everyone has a different schedule, but we will make something work. Even if it takes 3 months, we'll meet up. It's just about keeping that kind of open communication. And then I think it also comes about sort of accepting that sometimes you will drift from people that maybe you knew a little better at uni. But I've also had it where I've actually got closer to people since university, that I've actually
That's
had
good.
to, I've been able to spend more one-on-one time with them. And I'm like, I'm so glad I got to know you more now than maybe at uni,
Than before, yeah.
Yeah, which is always funny as well.
Yeah. And we know that as we've talked a bit about your career journey. So start with marketing and then now working at the National Theatre as PA to the director and still doing your content page. I was going to say, if you did not pursue a career within the creative industries, is there another job you probably see yourself doing or would like to do if you were in another world, another time?
Oh, that's a really good question. Yeah, I think in another time, I always joke I'd be something like a wedding planner or like, something involves that kind of project management, because I thrive off that kind of.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I love it. I just love that whole like planning, making it happen, executing it. It's just like, it's good. Yeah, it's good.
It's satisfying. Something like what they called like a house stager, like a home stager.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, like trying to show. Yeah. What? There's a word for it. Like the Are you talking about like when they have the showrooms for houses? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes. Yeah. And
okay. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Exactly.
Great. And last two questions would be, what words would you use to describe your 20s so far?
God.
Words or sentences, it's up to you.
I think maybe I'd start with unexpected as well.
Yeah.
And then I think I'd also say, God, that's a really hard question. Unexpected.
I think unexpected is fine. What made it unexpected?
I think because coming out of uni, especially in a creative field, you kind of think, God knows where I'm going to be in job-wise in a year or two.
Yeah.
And then kind of landing on my feet at the National and then going into this new job, it was just all very unexpected.
Yeah.
Very unexpected.
That's good.
It's good. It's good unexpected.
Yeah, that's good. I think that's good. That's lovely. And finally, Bronte, where can we find your food blogging page?
You can find me on Instagram. Bronte's Brunch and Bites.
Bronte's Brunch and Bites with an N, right? For the N. Bronte's Brunch and Bites. I'm like having to open my mouth everywhere so I don't miss it. Honestly. But no, thank you so much, Bronte. That's our time done. It went quite quickly, but thank you so much. It's been a pleasure getting to know more about your work and your journey as well.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure.
No problem.